Okay. All right. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, everybody. This is Last Man Standing. Two BPs and one OG. I am one of the hosts of three. I am Kevin Harris. This is Keyshawn and KJ of the podcast. We want to tell everybody thanks again for being a part of what we do every Wednesday night at 9:30. Sorry for the delay. We had some little issues earlier, but we're going to jump right into it. And we're going to start off by saying that we have a lot of things we want to talk about. We're going to talk about the NBA playoffs. We're going to talk about the NFL draft and how things went down. And then we're also going to touch on some life issues that I want to pose to the two athletes when it comes to being student athletes and just on their basic opinion. Now, first, let's start off with the NFL draft. And we know the first pick, which everybody was not questioning, was Cam Ward for the Tennessee Titans. Now, let me ask you guys this from your personal experience as athletes: was that a good decision by Tennessee Titans to pick him, or should they have stayed with Mayonnaise Levis and hold the fort down with him and maybe pick Travis Hunter as a generational talent? Who want to go first?
Yeah, I think it was great. I think it was I think it was pretty good. Like I said, I'm not too high on Will Levis. He's pretty much shown or what he's capable of. Of course, he could, develop into a good quarterback and maybe get some better weapons around him. But for the most part, I think he's pretty much shown what he's going to be, especially since y'all lost y'all head coach. I think it's time to just go ahead and start fresh. And Cam Ward is a fresh start for y'all. He's an amazing quarterback. He's going to do very good things for Tennessee Titans. I think we all pretty much can determine that he was the best quarterback in that draft, regardless. So yeah, I love the pick for y'all. I do.
Okay, because y'all what?
I'm a piggyback off of Keyshawn. Yeah, I think it was the best decision. At first, I was more so thinking like y'all should have stayed with him a little bit longer, just because I think that he didn't have enough weapons in order to be a successful quarterback. But when I looked at y'all roster the past couple of weeks, just to see what y'all did have, honestly, he just trash, truthfully. Because y'all got a good receiver core for the most part, a young nucleus receiver core. So y'all definitely had opportunities to be successful. He just wasn't mentally there when it came to some of his decision makings. Right. So I think once again I'm a big stickler on quarterbacks gotta develop. They gotta be able to develop into that potential superstar quarterback or that potential game changing quarterback. But I feel like he wasn't able to develop because of the lack of. Some people come in the draft and they need weapons around them. Some people can come in the draft and make their team better. And I feel like he was the type of quarterback that might have needed some people to be around him. And not like just a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? Because what y'all got Calvin Ridley, y'all had Tony Pollard. You know what I'm saying? And then y'all defense wasn't terrible. I think he just wasn't ready to be that star quarterback for y'all. And that might be a little bit of bad karma on the Titans' part, anyways, because I think me personally, I feel like they gave up on Malik Willis a little too early too.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So, I'm a big stickler on that. You will reap what you sow, and you give up on one person. You know what I'm saying? Thinking the grass is greener on that side, the whole time the grass isn't greener.
Okay, so you think they didn't? You think they didn't make the right decision because he was from a small school, which is my school. I graduated from Liberty University. You think that played a factor, or Why do you think they gave up on him so soon?
Um, a lot of unfortunately, and I hate to put the race card into it, but a lot of times when it comes to black quarterbacks, they don't give them unless there was like a first round pick. They don't give them as many opportunities to thrive. So like they would do any other quarterback. You know what I'm saying? And it's not. It's because like if you think about it, like a lot of black quarterbacks aren't as I guess you say IQ educated when it comes to that position, and so I believe they gave up on
They
him
portray
because,
that.
huh?
They try to the media and stuff tries to portray that, but they are
Right, but they are exactly, and that's my whole thing. I feel like they gave up on him too early because he wasn't like I said once again. If you're a first round draft pick, they give you a little bit more opportunities. You know what I'm saying? But being that Malik Willis, I don't remember I don't remember where he fell out in the draft, but I feel like they didn't give him, if he had his opportunity wasn't as how can I say it? He wasn't given as many opportunities as the next person.
Okay.
But I mean, I feel like either way, it's a win. Cam Ward is definitely going to be it's going to be a life changing type of situation for the Titans. And then also too, they drafted one of his like top receivers when he was in college. So I mean, not drafted, but they picked up one of his top receivers in college. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like they're setting him up to be the next big thing. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like when you put pieces around that they already had previously before, they definitely gonna make a difference. Like I'll give you an example with the Joe Burrow and the Jamar Chase type of situation. Like that was like a match made in heaven because Jamar Chase was that dude with Joe Burrow at LSU.
Right.
And you end up drafting together. You know what I'm saying? Now he that dude at Cincinnati. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's gonna be good for y'all, honestly. Either or, if they would have got Travis, it would have been good. But you gotta start off with a quarterback. You need the nucleus first.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Here's the thing about it. I felt the same way with Will Levis, but when I watched Will Levis play, it was like he was playing like he was scared. Or he's scared to lose his job or scared not to make mistakes. And he allowed
Right.
Will Levis to thrive in a system that because when Will went down, Tannehill went down, Malik had the opportunity to take over. You see what I'm saying? And we're in a situation now, unfortunately, you don't have much time to they're not allowing you development. If you ever notice it,
No.
they're not allowing development players to develop. Let's take for instance Caleb. Caleb, I thought came in a little bit arrogant, a little cocky, not trying, just throwing it out there, saying he was the next Patrick Mahomes. First of all, Patrick Mahomes wasn't the next Patrick Mahomes. He sat behind Alex Smith and learned how to play the game, and he fell into a situation where he had an offensive-minded coach. I really believe that you have to have an offensive-minded coach. When we had the guy that's now in New England, I can't even think of his name, Vrabel. He wasn't an offensive-minded coach. So therefore, he was a defensive player and a defensive-minded coach that caused us to falter in some areas because when it came down to it, and we're going to get to the NBA just like it's coaching, when it came down to it, he got out coached when he played Kansas City. We was the number one ranked team. We went in there, we was knocking them in the head. We should have went to the Super Bowl. But instead, he got out coached. You see what I'm saying? And therefore, at the end of the day, if you get to a bad team with bad coaching, I think it makes it more difficult to me. You see what I'm saying? It's a difficult situation. Whereas Tennessee now they're restructuring, but I just hope that I don't know anything about our coach. I just hope that they make some decisions that's in the benefit of the team and not trying to prove a point. You see what I'm saying?
Who did y'all pick up at coach? I can't remember.
Man, I don't know. We got him from 7-Eleven somewhere. He was working at the 7-Eleven in Texas somewhere. I don't know. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I mean? So we got him for, what Stephen A. Smith said, we got him for a box of chocolate and a bag of chips. So, I mean, so we got to figure out something. So, do you think, let me ask you this so we won't oversaturate the conversation. Was Jacksonville Jaguars a good decision? I know this shocked everybody. Was Jacksonville Jaguars a good decision to grab Travis Hunter at 2?
For sure. I think that's an amazing decision. Just off the strength of that, he is going to be able to cater to two of the needs that they have. They need a wide receiver, they need a DB. And the fact that one, he's going to be box office. People are going to, he's putting butts and seats in the stadiums, and people are going to be buying his jerseys. Yeah. People are going to be great. He's a great marketing idea. So off that strength alone, and then like I said, his ability and his talent, his ability to be a playmaker, even if he's not like doing 150 snaps, maybe like 90 snaps on one end and maybe 20 or 20 or 30 on another end, not like what he was doing at Colorado, but he still has the ability to be a playmaker on both sides of the ball and cater to two of the needs that they have. And again, he's from Florida. He was born in Florida. So he's back home pretty much essentially. And honestly, I think for him, that's one of the best situations he can fall into because yes, I know that Jacksonville didn't have the best of years last year, but that is not normally what Jacksonville is. Normally they're on
Right.
that tier of fighting to get into the playoffs, like a game or two behind them getting the playoffs. That's normally where Jacksonville is, or in the playoffs and getting booted first round. So he's actually in a good situation. They're a couple players away from being a decent playoff team,
Right.
and him going there now out their other draft picks, I'm not sure I really liked like that outside of getting Travis Hunter. I don't know if they picked up any other really like solid pieces that's ready to make a difference now.
Right.
But like I said, they still got a decent team. They still got Trevor Lawrence, Trevor Etienne. They still got
Brian Thomas Jr.
Forsythe, Lil Khan. They still got Brian Thomas Jr. They still got some playmakers on that defensive offensive side of the ball. And I think that they can make a little bit of noise this year if everything goes the way they wanted it to.
Okay. Obviously, we can't go through each and every player. So, KJ, what do you think about Travis Hunter? And I'm gonna ask you about a couple more people, and then we're gonna talk about some other things.
Oh, I like the Travis Hunter pickup. Yeah, I think like I agree with Keyshawn. For one, that's two people in one draft right there. Like regardless of what everybody says, he's gonna play both sides of the ball. And I'm looking forward to him doing that just to prove everybody wrong that he can do it. Now, once again, I agree with Keyshawn. I don't think he need to do 150 snaps, but
Okay.
because you don't want his career to end early because he's overexerted himself. But
Right.
by all means, definitely like prove to the world that you're able to be successful on both sides of the ball.
Right.
And once again, because of how electrifying he is at the wide receiver position, that also gives Trevor Lawrence the opportunity to have two electrifying receivers. Because if you look at how Brian Thomas Jr. did last year, he was leading the receivers in receiving for a while. You know what I'm saying? As a rookie. So imagine what he's going to come back as a second year player. And then you got Travis Hunter, who's going to be, who's going to come in because he's trying to come in and make a name for himself.
Right.
And so, yeah, I feel like that's going to be an electrifying team. I think another thing that I didn't like about the Jaguars drafting this year, though, one thing I did like is what Keisha also said too, is that they didn't rectify a lot of other issues that they had because the Jaguars need a line. That was the reason why Trevor Lawrence had to do what he did, you know what I'm saying? Because
Right.
he didn't have the opportunity to throw the ball. So he
Okay.
had to run out the pocket a lot, you know what I'm saying? And as a quarterback, sometimes that's not always beneficial, so
Do you think that because he made the statement his rookie year, that football is not his life? Do you think people are judging him based on that, or can you find work-life balance in football? Because he made a statement which I think that he's a Christian, of course, and he said some things. He said football is not my life. He said I love football, but it's not my life, and I'm not 100% dedicated to it. I have other things I want to do. Do y'all feel like he's being judged because of that, or is it because he just have not had good teams these last couple of years?
You know about Trevor Lawrence?
Yeah.
Nah, he ain't been judged. He ain't been judged because of that. He been judged because his play on the field is up and down. I mean,
yeah, he's wishy-washy.
I think that's the basis to what he's being judged by, not because of what he's saying, it's because of his production. Now, of course, that could also have something to do with his team, the people around him. Because, like I said, the quarterback is the most important position, but it's also the most dependent position upon having a good offensive line, having a good running back, having good receivers, having good play calling. I mean, honestly, so many things have to go right for the quarterback to look good, and only the most generational talents can make a bad team, quarterback-wise, make a bad team look good. So, for the most part, and you can count on maybe two hands how many generational talent quarterbacks that can actually do that. Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady being the two that comes on the top of my head that can make a bad team look really good.
But if you go, well, I'm gonna jump in right there, just to piggyback on that. When Drew Bledsoe got hurt, y'all were too young to remember. The New England Patriots was loaded. They had Ty Law. Their team was maxed out with defense, and their offense was strong. So when he came in, and he had a defensive coordinator, head coach guru, that when Tom jumped in, he just jumped in and went to work. See, we're looking at it from a different view because he's the GOAT. But if you look at back at the first when he first jumped in, he jumped into a situation where he could not do anything but succeed. You see what I'm saying? But we're looking at it now and looking back, it's like, oh man, he was the GOAT. He wasn't the GOAT at the time. He just had an opportunity. He was a 6th round draft pick. He came into a good situation and a good team. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes.
Them teams after that though wasn't that good though, Pop. We gotta also take that into consideration.
No,
as well.
Lloyd Malloy, Ty Law, them guys' defense.
I'm not talking about that year. I'm talking about
no. I'm talking about that first run. His team was strong. Look at the history. New England wasn't no sub 500 team. You see what I'm saying?
I'm not saying that, but when we talk about loaded players, we talking about like you got to think of how New England drafted. Like they drafted players from the 4th and 5th and 6th round and turned them into superstars. They wasn't just superstars off the rip of where they was getting drafted at in the draft process. So you can't say that he just had loaded teams when they drafted the way they drafted. Why do you think they are known for turning, for lack of better words, nobodies into somebodies. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Like think about it. Julian Edelman is one person that comes to my mind when I talk about that.
But then we also go ahead.
But Keyshawn, I think what you're doing, Keyshawn, you're thinking about the teams that me and you saw. We didn't see them early 2000 teams when you won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and right, but that's my point though. I'm saying you talking about that iteration of Tom Brady. You got to look at his totality. The man played 20 plus years in the league. Right. He won a championship in his last 2 years being in the league. So you got to look at his totality of work.
Right, but what I'm saying is think about, okay, let's look at Tampa Bay championship. Was that team not? Now, remember the first thing I said, even before we started the podcast, the first thing, what did I say years ago? I said, Jameis Winston should have did better, but he throws so many interceptions that when he got removed, Tom came in and had a loaded team. It wasn't the team. It was Jameis Winston. It was Jameis Winston. Remember?
But I mean, I get what you're saying.
You mean it wasn't Jameis Winston? It was the team.
No. I said Jameis Winston was a scrub. The team was strong. So when Tom jumped into a strong team for Tampa Bay.
But you also got to know that he elevated that team as well. Though.
Oh, yeah, of course. I'm not disregarding it, but I'm saying to you is, it's kind of like LeBron. When think about when LeBron left Miami. LeBron left Miami and went to Cleveland, which was a sub 500 team. LeBron said, look, I know how to win. Let me show you how to win. This is what I need to win. And he helped Kyrie Irving to know how to win. Because Kyrie Irving he didn't win anything since high school. You see what I'm saying? He didn't win anything in college. He only played 1 month out of the tournament because he's hurt the whole year. You see what I'm saying? Got drafted number 1 off potential. So you talking about LeBron did lift the team, but the team of athletes wasn't scrubs. That's what I'm trying to say. Them guys were, you make the NBA, you have to have some type of ability. You understand what I'm saying?
But if we compare them to other NBA players, then technically they would be subpar.
Well, again, it depends on who's looking at it. You see what I'm saying? So I get what you're saying. I think what we have, what I wanted to say was, hopefully these guys, Cam Ward, Travis Hunter, them. Well, I don't want Travis Hunter to do good because he in my division. I'm sorry, I'm not looking for Jacksonville to do good. We got enough to deal with CJ. We got enough to deal with Houston. I don't need the Jaguars coming up. So there'll be 2 more. That's another team we got to deal with. You know what I'm saying? I need them to stay there because the coach's trying to figure it out. As long as Richardson is the starting quarterback, he ain't gonna figure it out. So we straight on that.
I was very shocked that they didn't draft the quarterback.
Well, they want to get Richardson, but think about it. But KJ said it. They got to at least give Richardson another year out of his contract. At least let him figure it out. This is only his 3rd year.
I think he was the first round draft pick. So they gonna give him. They gonna give him like 3 chances.
3 chances.
And if he goes to another team, if he get to go to another team, and give him another chance. Because you gotta remember, his first year he got hurt, so that technically don't count.
Exactly. The 2nd year, I think he was limping around too. So he had like a shoulder injury or something. So he done had 2 years of injuries.
Play style. Yeah. He gets hurt because of his play style.
Gotcha.
I remember the Colts end up having Gardner Minshew his 2nd year or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Flacco.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so let me
Yeah,
so
yeah.
let me ask you this. Let me ask you this about Abdul Carter, the New York Football Giants. Do we think that he is a game changer, or he's just going to come into an already solid defense, or is he a game changer?
That defense is trash, so he's definitely gonna be a game changer.
The defense is not trash, buddy.
Nothing about the Giants is good, so he definitely.
Hey, listen, the defense is not trash.
Will Carter will be a game changer because that defense is Garbellini sauce, and he's gonna make the difference.
Okay, so John, this is your team.
Yeah,
What say you?
Yeah, I'm not gonna hold you. The defense hasn't been the problem. The problem has been the lack of productivity.
I got two good D. I got three good D linemen. That's it.
We have a good linebacker actually.
So
We have a good safety.
Good D lineman.
So once again, buddy, I ain't gonna lie. What I'm not gonna allow you to do is talk bad about my team. When your team barely started making it, you know what I'm saying?
Oh,
you had to fire a whole team in order to be successful.
We just fired one player.
Let go of Russ. Let go of the head coach.
That's it.
Let go of Russ. Let go of the head coach. Let go of the running back. You know what I'm saying? Don't even let Shannon Sharp come back to go on the sideline. None of that.
Shannon Sharp be there. He be there all the time.
Well, I don't think
but no.
After this, he won't be on the sideline after this situation.
Yeah, no, definitely. No, not at all, actually. But what was I about to say? My fault. I lost y'all for a second. You got me?
Yeah,
Okay.
you good.
All right. So, for example, what Abdul Carter is going to do? He's not going to, because our defense, our defensive line hasn't been the issue. The issue that we needed to address was like corners and linebackers. But defensive line wise, yeah, I think he's going to help us out a little bit more because you're going to have to account for him, Brian Burns, and Dexter Lawrence.
Okay.
So I feel like that. And then we still have Kayvon Thibodeau. But I say this, me personally, I feel like the Giants made that decision solely because of they passed up on Michael Parsons 4 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah. So being that they passed up on Michael Parsons 4 years ago, they was like, we're not going to allow ourselves to miss out on a generational defensive player. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So even if he doesn't add or help our team out like right now, eventually he's going to help the team out because he is another version of Michael Parsons. Truthfully, right? He literally is. So yeah. So regardless of the fact of anything, when it comes to our conference, we have Jaden. We have Jaden Daniels at quarterback, Jalen Hurts, and those are running quarterbacks. Those are running quarterbacks, so you have to have a good defensive line to stop them from moving out the pocket.
Mobility.
What about that?
No. I'm not including Dak. I'm sorry, Dak is cool, but I'm talking about like running quarterbacks, like Jaden Daniels and Jalen Hurts.
You gonna disrespect Dakota?
He making money, but I don't think he can. I don't think he can run out of a bag. But he's doing his thing financially, but I don't think he's just a mobile quarterback. I agree with that. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So now, but being that you're a Denver and you are a New York Football Giants fan, how do we feel about the fact that you got yesterday's trash, which is Russell Wilson, to be probably the starting quarterback for the New York Football Giants?
So me personally, I think Russ. This is gonna be like Russ, like last year, to prove if he can actually still play. But one thing that I've been saying to my coworkers, my students, my clients, all that, is that we picked up Russ, and he barely did anything. And we have a subpar team offensively, but Russ had a pretty good team offensively at the Steelers, and he couldn't really do anything.
I wouldn't say all that.
Let's be honest. Okay, if we go on by player, right? The Steelers' offensive line is way better than the offensive line.
Okay.
Hands down.
Okay.
All right. They have a good receiver, George Pickens.
Right.
We have a good receiver, Malik Neighbors. They have a great tight end, and they had great running backs last year with a great defense.
Right.
And they barely made it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not not putting the Giants down completely, but I mean, what you say, even though you was joking, you was making a valid point though. Our defense is okay. You know what I'm saying? We got Dexter Lawrence, we got Brian Burns, but they didn't get it cracking until the end of the year.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We only had one like dependable receiver, truthfully. Like majority of our score, like we barely put up points last year. So I mean, and then once again, me personally, we didn't address certain things that we needed to address. Like if I was the GM, I would have tried to get a receiver as well. Because you're putting the load on Malik Neighbors. Now Darius Slayton is cool,
Right.
but he's not consistent. You know, so I mean, I don't know what Russ is going to be able to do that he couldn't do for the Steelers.
For the Steelers last year. Okay.
Yeah,
I mean, that's real talk.
To be truthful, I mean, yeah, I'm be truthful because I mean, and once again, like I said in the draft, we addressed like what we picked up. Now we did pick up a great running back. You know what I'm saying, which is good. He's one of him with Tyrell Tracy. That's gonna be good. But are we trying to become a running team? Are we not planning on throwing the ball?
That's what y'all always been predicated upon, though. Think about
But
it. I had Ahmad Bradshaw and
Brakham Jacobs, yeah.
Y'all had Tiki Barber. Y'all have always been a running team.
Oh, we forgot we forgot you had the Super Bowl champ.
Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, Saquon.
But listen, I totally get that, but we can't be just a running team in a passing league now, though. Think about it.
Yeah, you can. Philadelphia did it right.
Philadelphia just did it though. Yeah, they accomplished it. Yeah.
Yeah,
he had over 2,000 yards.
Okay, so all right, you mean so? I mean, not trying to throw the young men down because they made it. I ain't make it to the NFL. Are you trying to tell me that Tyron Tracy and Cam Scatterable are Saquon Barkley?
They're not, but they can both rush for 750, 850
okay.
yards.
All right, so then I'm gonna say this too.
That's why it's called
Hear me out. Do the Giants got Jordan Mulatto, whatever his name is, and all that at offensive line?
They don't have them at offensive line, but if I remember, y'all drafted some offensive linemen, didn't you?
One guard.
And like I said, it's a piecing process.
But listen, the whole right side is still terrible though.
That's a piecing process. You still got opportunity to pick up free agents. You still got opportunity to trade for certain players before the trade deadline is over with. But again, like I said, it's a piecing process. Ain't nobody expecting y'all to be good right now this year. The front office is not expecting y'all to be good right now this year. Y'all don't have that capacity at the moment. Y'all are players together, kind of like what Detroit did when they picked up Jared Goff, when they picked up David Montgomery, when they picked up Jahmyr Gibson and got Jameson Williams, and then they picked up the tight end. What's that? I can't think of his name. The tight end. God dog, he's tough. Whatever. When they pieced Laporta, they pieced that team together. Amon-Ra St. Brown. You know what I'm saying? It's not gonna be, oh yeah, we got Abdul Carter, we're gonna be good this year. No, it's gonna take a year or two to get everything in order, and then y'all be together. Just like Detroit.
But hear me out, Keyshawn. I totally get everything you're saying. We just went to the playoffs 3 years ago.
That was 3 years.
And we was trash the last 2 years.
Yeah, and now it's a reboot.
But you gotta remember what Sean is saying. Detroit went 0-16. Now they're going for the NFC Championship every year.
Every year.
But listen, I totally get what y'all saying. Yeah. But you gotta understand, the Giants have been rebooting since 2016. You can't reboot every year.
Well, Cleveland does.
You think we having the same thing?
Yeah, Denver.
We went to the playoffs since 2015, and guess what we did last year?
Listen,
we went to the playoffs.
Totally get what you're saying.
I'm saying it takes time.
But y'all was a piece or two away, baby. I'm telling you right now.
Since 2015.
And listen, I'm telling you right now, we are 11 pieces away every year.
I don't think y'all 11 pieces away.
So let me get this straight. So you're saying you a bucket of extra? So let me get this straight. You a bucket of extra crispy and a grape soda away?
And I know you do too, Keisha. I study football.
I think you underestimate the offensive line because a lot of those sacks that was given up was Daniel Jones' fault holding on to the ball too long as well. You can't just blame it on the offensive line.
But you know what? But I'm not blaming the offensive line. I'm blaming
you said the whole right side of the offensive line trash.
I'm blaming it on the Giants organization, period. We don't make good decisions.
Again, and y'all gonna win some more games this year than y'all won last year. Now, I may not be saying a lot. That might not be saying a lot.
You know how many offensive line that were available this year? We didn't even think about going to get them. You got what's the boy named Laramie Tunsil? He was available.
Oh wow, he's good.
Makai, whatever his name is, I can't think of his name. He was available. Yeah, it was so many alignment that was what Joe Tony was available. Like people was losing alignment every day, B, and we.
I didn't know you wanted to come to the Giants though.
Did we try?
Maybe y'all did. You don't know. You don't know what the GM did. You don't know what the GM did.
And once again, this is the same GM that let Saquon Barkley go. We paid Daniel Jones.
He's the same GM that let Saquon Barkley go. He's the same GM that just drafted Malik Neighbors, that just drafted Abdul Carter, that just drafted Jackson Dart. So, I'm just saying.
Hey, that he making right for the wrong decisions he made.
That's
well, okay.
That's the game of football.
Well, I tell you what.
I'm gonna just let you. Hey, you just be happy. You just happy that your team is good. You won't be all optimistic and stuff. I'm being real. The Giants only gonna win 6 games again this year.
Well, y'all think I might win 7?
I'm gonna say this: you are in a tough division, but I don't think. Let me say this. Let me finish. You are in a tough division, but Washington Lightning doesn't. You can't get lightning in a bottle twice. I don't think Washington's going to be that powerful like last year. They caught everybody off guard last year because they had a new coach, new quarterback, new things. I think your team is going to be better than you think because they're going to start. Because see, Russell Wilson may be a lot of things, but he does know how to win. He's a winner. So therefore, he's going to make the difference. Just like you said about when the GOAT went to Tampa Bay, or even when LeBron goes somewhere. It's a winning attitude that makes a difference on the team too. So that's going to change it because Daniel Jones just did not know how to win. So therefore, he didn't have the winning pedigree. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
But so let me ask you. Let's go to this next one. Did I hear you right that Scatterboo went to the Giants?
Yes. Yeah, Scatterboo went to the Giants. Yes.
Oh man,
we stole him on. I don't know how I'm confused on why he was still available. Like people did not think that he was one of them ones.
Because he was like the number 2 running back in college last year, right behind Genty, right?
Nah.
Well, he's in the top. Well, he was known. Let me say that.
He was in the top 10. Top 5.
Okay. Well, he was known. Let me say that he was known. Yeah, his name was out there.
He ain't getting on to the playoffs, but
Got you. Okay. Do we think then we're gonna transition? Do we think Ashton Genty that was a good choice for the Raiders?
Yes, it was. They needed a running back. That's Pete Carroll's specialty. Have a good quarterback and running back. So you see what he had at Seattle with Russell Wilson and Marshawn Lynch. So he got his Geno. He got Geno Smith, and now he also has an Ashton Genty. I think that fits perfectly with that Rough Rider mentality that the Raiders are supposed to have.
Like that Beast Mode 2.0.
I ain't gonna give him all that yet because Marshawn is 1-1, but I think Ashton Genty is gonna fit perfectly into that system and perfectly into that division as well because that's kind of what our division is. It's just a bang it out type of division. You know what I'm saying? We gonna ride upon do what we gotta do. So that's perfect. That's Pete Carroll's pedigree right there. That's what he likes. A good run game, a good strong running back, and a good throwing quarterback. And he got that.
Okay. All right, well, I'm gonna finish that out, then I'm gonna transition. Like I say, do you guys feel like, and this is a 2-part question, do you feel like this was collusion on Shedeur Sanders, or do you feel like that he just wasn't what the teams wanted?
Collusion.
Collusion for sure.
For sure, collusion. You can't tell me Shedeur ain't better than Tyler Shuff. Tyler Shuff.
Yeah, that's what did it. I ain't gonna lie, that's what did it for me.
Yeah, that's when I knew something was up. I said Jackson Dart, that's a toss-up because they both had pretty good careers this season. And then I give Jackson Dart a little more edge because he played in the SEC at Ole Miss and was able to put up some good numbers. So I said Jackson Dart, that's a toss-up. But when they drafted Tyler Shuff and Dylan Gabriel before Shedeur, I said, oh yeah, I already know what's going on.
Even Jalen Milroe. I'm sorry.
Jalen Milroe too.
I don't think Jalen Milroe is better. I don't think Jalen Milroe is better.
That's when I knew. I said, oh yeah, it's collusion for sure. And another point is everybody keeps talking about all of a sudden everybody keeps bringing up interview processes and how his interviews wasn't good, but it's all these anonymous reports and nobody's putting names to
Right.
reports. And then of course, somebody said about Brian Daboll and the Giants where say he didn't know the playbook or wasn't prepared for the interview. I beg to say, Brian Daboll, you don't know about football and you ain't prepared for life because the Giants been sucking for the past 5 years. So I don't want to hear Brian Daboll talking about Shador didn't have a good interview, didn't know this, that, and third. Brian Daboll, you don't know nothing. Y'all been trash for 5 years.
Right.
I don't want you talking about a dog body. He was not the person to be saying that.
Hey, Paul, just to go back to what you said what he just said, and he won't be optimistic about the Giants.
We got better pieces now, you know what I'm saying?
So, before we transition, could y'all answer this? Why you feel that the 32 teams colluded against Shedeur Sanders and the Sanders family?
So I think it's like three reasons for sure. Okay, for one, first thing I say,